Hi, it's Allie with Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we're kind of talking about iced Chemex. So it's pretty similar to my traditional Chemex recipe. The only thing I'm going to change is where my second pour would usually be the latter half. I'm just going to switch that second pour out for ice. So basically you'll need all the same materials. I've got my filter, the Brew Pro grinder here from Eureka. That's a new one that is fun to use. So got my kettle set up. Today we're using a single origin Honduras coffee from Camber. I haven't had this one yet before, but it seems like a good one to do ice. Red grape, honey, and pear. So we'll see how that turns out. So start with wetting your filter. Chemexes are always fun to drink, but ice Chemexes in particular settle really well for me during the summertime. All right, so I'm just wetting my filter now. Empty out the rinse. All right, and then I'm gonna use 45 grams of coffee still because I'm still gonna aim for about 24 ounces yield. Okay, I didn't quite match the time with the weight, so we'll see how much this ground. Ooh, almost right on, just a little bit over. Okay, so level out my grounds. And then I'm gonna just start my standard recipe. I'm gonna do a 90-gram bloom. So essentially that means I'm going to pour twice the amount of weight for water as I did for the total grams of coffee put in. Start my timer. I always start towards the center of my brew bed just because I feel like it's the deepest part, and that's where I'd want most of the water running through. All right. So at the start of your Chemex, if your coffee is nice and fresh, should kind of show you some nice, almost like a liquid chocolate coloring at the top and lots of bubbles. The closer it is to the roast date, the more it will kind of puff up, but the later away you get from it, or the further away you get from your roast date, the less it will kind of bubble up like that. Now I'm going into my first big pour, and this coffee is still pretty fresh, so I'm getting a nice amount of bubbles here, going in just as even circles around the coffee as I can. And I'm actually going to stop at 360 grams. I'm going to be a little bit slower than you think. I'm actually probably pouring a little too quick, because it's not going to hang out with the coffee as long as if you were going to pour another hot pour over it. So you want to kind of give it some time to hang out together. Right now I'm at 1.5 minutes total, so it's about the time it took for me to finish this. Typically for my standard Chemex recipe, I would do a 5-minute total brew. We'll give this a second and see where it drops or how it lands. You can adjust this by doing a slower pour, which would probably be the first thing I would adjust. You can also change this by having a finer grind size. That one's a little bit more tricky though, because if you do it too fine, it can be too slow and bitter, kind of not give you exactly what you want. I have you see 2 glasses of ice here. This is actually my cup because I like to pour it over a nice fresh cup of ice, but this is actually a pre-measured and weighted for 360 grams of ice. So I just have that on this side here. Some people like to put the ice into the bottom of the Chemex before they even brew the hot. I don't like to do that. I think it can kind of make the extraction a little weird. If you flash cool it, I always think the flavors come out better and they complement the coffee a little bit more. So right now we're just kind of waiting for it to finish up here. I think it's looking really good. It's a nice clean cup at the bottom. Still got some time to drip through, so that's a good sign. You're still going to get that really clean cup with this Chemex. It is going to be a different type of flavor though, kind of similar to an ice pour over, which are also really good. Another trick you can do is if you wanted to make more volume, you can actually just use twice the amount of coffee for the standard Chemex recipe and then cut that with ice as well. I don't do that one as much because I feel like my ratios can get a little bit messed up, or if I don't have enough ice or something, but usually it works out pretty well. All right, we're going to be finishing up here. It looks like right around 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And I'm looking at my grounds here. They look like a little bit thicker than kosher salt, so maybe if I did it again, I would go a little bit finer on the grind. All right, get rid of the coffee here. One of my favorite parts, the cleanup on the Chemex is so easy. All right, and we're gonna toss in our pre-weighted, pre-measured ice. Give me a second to melt together there. All right, and then this is a good way to cool it down. Just spin it a little bit. I try to do this, I can actually start to feel the ice getting cooler. Sorry, the glass getting cooler from the ice. Yeah, so it's probably melted down 3/4 of the way, but it's pretty cold. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it over my glass here. This looks good. All right, here we go. An iced Chemex of Honduras from Camber. Ooh, it's very floral, which is nice. It's really tasty. I think it's really light. So typically if you like iced coffees a little bit on the darker side, this might be a little bit acidic for you. I think it's lovely though. It's really balanced. The lavender kind of notes come off on the kind of the palate once you're done drinking it. I would definitely recommend it. Definitely give it a try. Yeah, really refreshing. I could probably drink this whole thing right now. Be really good. This would be really good during the summer too, because it's so light, almost lemonade tea-like. Yeah, anyway, thanks so much for watching. Give us your recipes for iced Chemexes down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.